Now again we have to check world map. To the north of Black Sea, there is a nation called as Ukraine. From that Ukraine to Mongolia means we have to propagate towards eastern side. A flat land is there. That is called as steppes. If you check it clearly, you'll find that this land is exactly in the central part of continent. So this land is towards center from all landmass you can check. So the main important thing here, that is seashore, is much more away from this land. The reason is that for getting rainfall, the vicinity towards seashore is important. One of the criteria. Okay, not always. Otherwise, if you are going towards Chile side, that is in South America, it is not shown in map, but in the South America there is a nation that is called as Chile. On coastal line also of Chile, we are not getting much of the rainfall. The thing is that it is in vicinity of sea, but the wind direction is such. And second thing, that cold current that is flowing through that coastal side of Chile. As a result, we are not getting much of the vapors and rainfall is comparatively less. That's why you can check the deserts are developed along the south west side of this continent. Even in Africa also there is Kalahari Desert. Similar reasons are there. So it is not necessary that always seashore is there means rainfall is available, but chances of rainfall are more. If seashore is not there, then obviously we can say the chances of rainfall are comparatively less. Now, as rainfall is less, the thing is something different. That is availability of water. It is not necessary always that rainfall will give you assurity that availability of water. The second important thing, any big rivers are flowing. They are also important. That's why in Egypt, no doubt it's desert, but because big river is flowing, we are getting very good civilization there. So in this Central Asian part, particularly from Europe, that is from Ukraine to Mongolia, this all region, that is sea availability is not that much. Just to the north of Black Sea, yes. Then there is Caspian Sea, yes. Then Ural Sea, yes. But that is small pieces in the map. And therefore, here rainfall is there, but comparatively very low rainfall. Availability of water in soil is less. When availability of water in soil is less, then obviously big trees are not developing out. Grass is developed. That is called as grassland. We are calling it as steppes. In Ukraine, the height of grass is comparatively good. As we are moving from Ukraine to Mongolia, that means towards eastern side, the height of grass decreases. And in Mongolia, the region is developed that is in form of desert. That is called as cold desert. The name of that desert we have given, that is Gobi Desert. But I heard that from local Mongolian language, the meaning of Gobi itself is desert. So we are calling it as desert. So that is Gobi Desert. Now this is the reason that we are having very less water availability in this region, and as a result we are having only a grassland. Rainfall is comparatively very less, and then no much civilizations were developed in this territory. Particularly nomads developed in this territory. Out of that, in Mongolia, the nomads developed most probably. Why I am saying most probably? Because as they were nomads, they were not having any record, written records they don't have. So most probably from Mongolian side, these nomads were there. We call them as Hun, Hun. In Chinese inscription, they are mentioning them as Hung Nu, Hung -Nu. So these Hung Nu or Huns were developed in this particular part. What are the characteristics of these Huns? They were very, very wild people. Only they don't possess tel, and therefore they will be they were classified under human being. Otherwise, they were not, should not be considered as human being. They were like wild animal only. They were so wild that they were drinking out liquor through human skulls. Just imagine, around 9 lakh population was there of these Hun people, and while they were drinking this liquor, they were using human skull only once. For one night, for single night, they will use only one skull. For next day, suppose they want to drink liquor, then they will be in requirement of new skull. Just imagine how they have declined the population of China in those days. Why? Because they were attacking continuously on China for their need. If they were hungry for food, they were attacking on the civilized world, that is Chinese world. Ultimately, Chinese got threatened out. They will get harassed out by these Huns, and then they decide that all right, we have to do something extraordinary than Huns. And then they constructed a great wall of China so that these nomads will not enter in the Chinese territory. Huge wall was constructed from that Pacific Ocean to almost Taklawala Makan. That area that is towards north of India, there is desert. That is Takliwala Makan or Taklawala Makan. So that is there. Now, they almost that part they were protected out because they were not having Himalaya towards north of them. They were having Mongolia. Now, just to the what is another characteristic of these Huns? They were very good horse riders. It is mandatory, as in modern world, it is mandatory that every child must get education. So like that, in those days, every Hun must ride on horse. So horse riding was essential for them. And the most important thing they carried out, some research. We call it as composite bow. But what is the meaning of this composite bow? You are aware that usually bows were made up of bamboo or some metal or something different material. It is not very clear, but it is said that most probably intestine of cow was processed and attached to the stick of that bow. So flexibility of that bow increased out. As a result, size of bow decreased. Now size of bow is decreased. That means it is not necessary that person should stretch out that bow to very great extent. Let me clarify. If you are listening out Ramayana, Ram is described as Ajanubahu. That means having very long hand. Why it is required? So I can stretch out bow. That my one hand will hold that bow and another hand will hold that string. And in order to stretch it, get proper aim, I must stretch it till my ear. That's why in Sanskrit literature they are using word Akarna Pratyancha. Pratyancha means this string. Akarna, till my ear I have to stretch. Now, obviously, as hands are long, we can stretch to greater extent. But because of this discovery, the size of bow decreased. And then it is not necessary you should stretch out. This much stretching is also sufficient. The bow become more effective. It can now able to penetrate to shield also. Because old days shields were developed in that accuracy only with old these bows. But now they were having very good bow, having good penetrating power, that arrow they can hit. Another important thing, the range of this bow increase. So suppose I am giving you example that my ordinary bow will hit arrow in range of 25 meter. Whereas the Huns were having bow that can hit arrow in range of say 40 meter. Now notice the most important thing, that Hun will not be in your range, but you will be in their range. And that's why your protection is decreased. Another important thing, because of this small size bow, these Huns were able to carry out another practice. They are called as mounted archers. That means what? They used to sit on the horse And by that they practiced out to take proper aim. And then they use this bow, that is composite bow, mounted archer, because their mobility increased, so you are not able to target them easily. All these efforts, they were very good warriors. They were making loud noise at time of battle. They were shouting loudly. And that's why many times in European literature they were referred as barbarians. When I was not aware of that word, I was considering that something area must be there that is called as barbaria, and therefore these people are called as barbarian. Later realized that that is literally meaning barking people. So that is barbarian. They were making huge sound, and because of that, a warrior, the opposition side, was not able to concentrate in the war technique. Another technique these Huns were using at time of war, that they were making their smaller troops, armies divided into smaller groups, and one by one they were using attack. If they were finding that okay, enemies are powerful, then they were taking it back for a while and again revert it and making attack. This second attack was more disastrous, and this way they were using techniques. They now having problem. China constructed their Great Wall, and so they were not able to penetrate easily through that wall. So their main food source stopped, and now they started looking towards western side, because at eastern side there was Pacific Ocean. So they started looking towards western side. To the west side of Hun, another nomadic tribal area that was there, they were called as Yuchi. The spelling is Y-U-E-CHI. They were also called as Tocharians, Kushan, Shuk, like that various names are there. They were also staying in grassland. They were also very good archer. They were also using horses, but the cruelty level of Huns were much more. To the eastern part of this Kushan, the territory to the north of Caucasus, to the north of Caspian, and to the west of Caucasus, that toward the north of Black Sea, that is Ukraine area, that territory, that was called as Scythia, and the people there called as Scythian. In Indian literature, they were mentioned as Shuk or Suk, like that mention of these people. So these are all nomadic tribal people. I'm just giving introduction. They were very good horse riders. In Indian literature, they often explained as Mlench. Many people consider Mlench is word used for Muslims, but actually this word is found in earlier literature also. Prior to establishment of Islam, this word is found in Indian literature. The literal meaning of Mlench word is Central Asian nomads, those who are not following Aryan culture. They were called as Mlench. Shuk word is also having doubt. Most probably we can say the Mongoloid people were called as Shuk, most probably. Because in India also one kingdom was there that is called as Shakya kingdom. So that is Mahajanapada, that is called as Shakya Mahajanapada. So whether they are same or same name was given to another people, doubt. Anyway, so these are all various civilizations in the world. We just are giving you introduction. Huns were explained in brief because they made a lot of impact on world. So in later phase we are discussing about them in detail. Thanks.